So here we have my checklist project where I'll be discussing 7 types of communication and 4 types of motivation. The 7 types of communication I will be addressing is open-mindedness, active listening, nonverbal communication, clarity and concision, respectful communication, feedback and collaboration, and written communication. The first one is open-mindedness. Open-mindedness refers to the acceptance and generating of new ideas and being open to discussing those new ideas in the event of a group project or task that you guys are faced with. That means that everybody in the group is contributing to generating those ideas, and those ideas are being accepted, analyzed, and assessed, which is very useful in a group setting. Open-mindedness, what it does in a group setting, can establish fluidity, and fluidity refers to people seamlessly generating ideas and trying to analyze those ideas and collaborate them to find the most optimal outcome for the group. Also, another important aspect that it has on another important influence that it has on the group is that it establishes trust and comfort. Not everybody in the group will know each other right away, and some people are reluctant to share the ideas that they have because they're shy. So, open mindedness establishes that comfort level and trust necessary to elicit the proper responses from everybody in the group. What that means is that people are more comfortable talking to people who are open minded and listening to what their ideas are. Also, what it does is allows you to be flexible and adaptable to any situation. Open mindedness does that because all these new ideas being accepted and discussed really makes you flexible to any situation, anything that occurs. If you're open minded, you can take that situation and really try and leverage it to your advantage. Next, we have active listening. Active listening is when someone is talking to you, you're asking questions, you're maybe taking notes, and you're really showing them that they have your undivided attention. What this does for a group is that it prompts clarity. It also gets people to open up and discuss more ideas, and can really eliminate any misunderstandings that someone might have in the group. The way that an example of this would be if someone is speaking to you and you are actively listening to them, you're asking questions and trying to specify the true meaning of what they're telling you. There's no room for you to misunderstand what it is they're saying and do it wrong in the future. Also, when someone is talking to you, an example of how it gets people to open up is if someone is shy, like we discussed for open-mindedness, someone is shy and reluctant to share their ideas. When you're actively listening and showing that you're engaged in the conversation, people tend to share their ideas more. Next, we have nonverbal communication, which is very important. Nonverbal communication addresses your body language, your facial expressions, and basically any nonverbal cues that you might be giving off with your body. So I read an article that said that only 7% of our communication is verbal, meaning that people communicate with each other just by analyzing how their body language, their tone, their stance, their facial expressions, etc. So nonverbal communication is important to understand because if you do it correctly, it creates focus, meaning that you're talking to someone and you're showing them with your body or with your face that you're truly engaged in the conversation. People tend to become more comfortable in this situation. For example, if someone's talking to you and you're looking down at your phone, you're not really answering them that much, it kind of gives them the impression that you're not fully paying attention to what they're saying, and what they're saying might not be important. Conversely, if if someone's speaking to you and you're looking them in the eye, you're nodding your head, showing that you are understanding what they're saying, and you're fully in your body language fully shows that you're engaged in the conversation, people are more comfortable when speaking to you and they're more focused on the conversation. Next, we have clarity and concision. Clarity and concision refers to the 3 C's: clear, concise, and correct. You want to be clear in your message, brief in your message, and also correct in your message. So what this does is that it allows you to have a structure in your conversation and be more organized. When you're having a conversation with someone and you're clear and concise in what you're saying, there's no room for tangents to occur and for the conversation to get off topic. Also, It eliminates the possibility of misunderstanding or any confusion that someone might have. For example, if someone's speaking to you and you're clear and concise in the way that you present your idea to them, there should be no reason for them to be confused as to what it is you mean when you're speaking to them. Next, we have respectful communication. Respectful communication is essentially showing someone that you are appreciative of what they're saying to you and taking into consideration what they're saying and giving feedback in a respectful manner. What this does is it allows the conversation to go uninterrupted. If you have respect for someone else when they're communicating with you, you're not going to cut them off and just share your opinion over theirs. Also, it allows for a more conducive workspace. For example, if you're in a group where everybody is sharing their ideas and being respectful and really considering and assessing those ideas in a respectful way, those ideas can get turned into something much greater and much more productive. Conversely, if you're in a group setting where someone is talking and the other people and someone else is cutting them off and there's no respect between the communication, then the conversation doesn't go anywhere. No productivity occurs. Next, we have feedback and collaboration. Feedback and collaboration are important because feedback allows you to share your opinion with someone else and give them criticism in a constructive manner based on what they said. Also, collaboration is important because it allows you to collaborate with other people who may lack a certain skill set that you possess, but also have a certain skill set that you don't have. So essentially you're taking the best ideas of the most qualified people in the group and implementing them together to try and find the best outcome. So what feedback and collaboration can do for the group is that it engages everybody in the group. An example of this would be like you're in a group setting with 5 people. 3 of those 5 people are open-minded with each other, communicating, generating all these great ideas, and really giving each other feedback on those ideas. Now, the other 2 people are silent and they may have an idea that they want to share, but they don't really feel comfortable doing so. Feedback and collaboration allows you to engage those members, ask them what they think, and give them your feedback and really collaborate with everybody in the group so everybody is involved. Written communication is what I think is the most important today with all the advancements in technology. Written communication refers to anything that's written, any form of communication that's written, whether it be email, text message, notes, session notes, business meeting notes, group notes, etc. What this does is it keeps everybody on track. It allows everybody to have a reference as to what went on in that meeting, what needs to be done going forward. If anyone forgot what someone said, it's documented in there for you to reference in the future. And essentially it keeps everybody organized. So an example of this would be you have a group meeting with your group to discuss what you're going to do for the project. In that group meeting, you guys have all these great ideas, and someone's taking notes the entire time of those ideas and documenting them and post them in the group me later that day. So maybe you had the meeting in the morning and later that day you forgot a lot of key points that you guys discussed in the meeting, but you go to your group me where people communicate with each other and the person who took notes posted all the notes from the group and you're able to reference what was said and discuss with people outside of the classroom or outside of the group meeting. Next, we'll discuss 4 types of motivation: intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation, competence motivation, and achievement-based motivation. Intrinsic motivation refers to internal factors that motivate you. So what this means is that you're not doing something for a reward. You're not doing something so you get an outcome that's favorable for you. Instead, you're doing something because you have sheer pleasure in doing so. You want to do it for yourself and not for anybody else. So an example of this would be you studying for an exam. You're not studying for the exam because you want to do well in the exam. You're studying for the exam because you are genuinely interested in the topic that you're reading about, and your motivation for that lies with your passion for the topic. Next, we're going to discuss extrinsic motivation, which is the opposite of intrinsic motivation and is the external factors that motivate you to do what it is you do. So, extrinsic motivation could be financial incentives or advancements in the workplace or receiving a good grade on a project or exam. Those are the motivating factors that are motivating you to keep doing what it is you're doing. A subdivision of intrinsic motivation would be competence motivation. Competence motivation refers to doing something so you remain competent in that thing. What that means is that you're practicing and doing that stuff for yourself because you want to be better at that skill. You want to earn that skill. An example of this would be practicing soccer on your own time. You're not practicing soccer because you want to get the starting position. You're not practicing soccer because you want to exercise and, develop some muscle. You're practicing soccer because you genuinely enjoy the sport and you want to be good at that sport. You want to make sure that you're right in that sport and that you know how to play and that you are doing it for yourself and not any other reason. A subdivision of extrinsic motivation could be achievement-based motivation, which means that you're doing something solely for the fact that you want to accomplish something and achieve that goal. An example of this would be training for a marathon. You're training for the marathon so you can tell people that you ran a marathon, you achieved completing a full marathon. You're not doing it because you want to remain healthy or you like to run. You want to do it because you want to say that you achieved running a marathon. Next, we're going to discuss where I got my information and the sources and their credibility. So the first source is Doyle, and she was a job expert for the Balance of Careers website. In the article that I read and got this information from, she's noted as the industry's most highly regarded career experts and is also included in Forbes' top 100 list for best websites for your career. Next, we're going to discuss an article I read from a marketing manager with a degree from University of Ireland. So this woman has over 10 years of experience as a marketing manager and account executive. So this gives her a lot of credibility because, like I've noticed in my internship, account executives and marketing managers are constantly in client relationships and constantly communicating with other employees and other clients or customers. So I think that over 10 years of experience doing so, she has some insight as to effective communication skills. Lastly, we're going to discuss Buckley, who wrote an article for lifehack.org. Although Buckley might not be the most accredited authors out there, the website that did publish his work is a very credible website that has millions of followers, and in their excerpt on the website have apparently touched the lives of millions over the years. Also, I deem the website credible because it has testimonies on their website from reputable places like Harvard College, companies like Bloomberg News and Times Magazine. Lastly, I did a little digging and I went to his LinkedIn page and I noticed that he is a content developer for self-development with the financial markets and business industry. So I believe that he has some insight for motivation and how that's used in the business setting. And lastly, his career experience that I read from LinkedIn was that he served as a life coach and also worked on startups. And as we know, startups require a lot of motivation, especially because you start at the very bottom. And that is my presentation. Thank you.